What's up you guys? Hey, it's Dr. Buck, and again we're here in another suture tutorial video. This video is not going to be about actually sewing, but we're going to talk about the suture material itself, kind of the different types of suture material there are, why we use them, what sizes they are, and all that good stuff. But first I would like to thank Medical Creations for sponsoring this video and sending me this suture kit. This is a pretty awesome kit. If you haven't seen these before, just if you want to practice suturing, this is a great kit to have. Basically, you get a hemostat, a scalpel, a needle driver, scissors, and then a forceps. This is an Addison forceps. It's great for practicing. You also get this handy dandy little suture pad here and a bunch of suture in the kit. So Medical Creations, if you want one of these kits, you can check in the comments below. I have a discount code for you to get 10% off. So let's start with, let me grab, I'll grab this right here. It came right out. I'm going to start with a 2.0 Pro Lean, okay? So first, let's talk about suture size. Okay, so first I want to talk about suture types and then the sizes. So what we basically have is an organic type of suture and then a synthetic type of suture. And let me just grab the one organic suture I have here. This is chromic gut. And we'll just pick out a synthetic suture. So we have, this is Pro Lean, and these are both 2.0. We'll talk about the sizes in a second. Chromic and catgut are considered kind of organic suture, and this is made out of what we call organic material, or actually animal byproducts. So this kind of smells, it's all wet, but these organic sutures are really good for something that you need to dissolve very quickly. So these dissolve in actually a couple days. So this is good for like if you're suturing inside the lip and you want that to go away really fast, because the inside of the mouth and lip heal very quickly and you don't want that suture in there for very long. A lot of people use this chromic or catgut. Catgut typically we won't use anymore, but the chromic we do. So that is an example of organic material. And this is synthetic. Now, most of the sutures that we use, that I use anyway, are synthetic. And this is going to be a 2.0 Pro Lean. And this is very different because this is actually a permanent suture, and we'll talk about that. So this is a 2.0 Pro Lean, you can see there. They're about the same size. Most sutures, when they're 2.0 or 3.0 or 0, they're about the same size. Not all of them are exactly the same size, and we'll talk about that in a second. So basically, that is the two arms we have. We have organic and synthetic. Synthetic are most, like I said, most of the sutures we use, so let's talk about those. So synthetic, we have what's called monofilament, and then I'm gonna grab this polyfilament here, which is Vicryl. Monofilament and polyfilament, they're a little bit different, obviously, in the fact that one is like a braided suture. So polyfilament here, there's lots of different sutures wound together, and the monofilament, this is just one suture, okay, or one string, basically. This is more like almost like a fishing line. This is like a cloth almost braided, right? And depending on what kind of suture it is, it could be polygalactan, which is this one, or polypropylene. So this one is Pro Lean, which is a brand name, but it's really polypropylene, the actual suture material. So we're just gonna take a look at these real quick, and you can see really fast the difference between these two when I do this. So that's the reason, or not, well, one of the reasons that we may choose one suture over the other. Pro Lean here, or this polypropylene suture, keeps its form really tight. So when these are wound up, they'll stay like that. And this Vicryl here, this polygalactan, does not. And so one of the reasons that I like to use this is because this doesn't, I don't have to have an assistant to keep this out of my way. Like using this, I need an assistant to keep it out of the way like that. And using this, I do not. When we have a braided suture, that means there are more kind of interstitial areas for bacteria to attach to. And when we use a monofilament, it's only one suture, and so there's not a lot of places, cracks and crevices for the bacteria to hide into. Other thing about these two sutures that are different is the way your body reacts to them. One is fairly inert, which is the monofilament, and one can cause a reaction by the body. The body tries to either get it out or forms a little bit of inflammatory reaction, which is good or bad depending on where it is. Sometimes if it's inside the body, you kind of want that inflammatory reaction to happen because you want the healing, more kind of cells to come towards the healing. But in the skin, say you kind of don't. So a lot of people in the skin will use like a monofilament so that doesn't cause a reaction and thus less scarring. So those are the big differences in the polyfilament and the monofilament. The other thing I wanted to talk about with these two sutures specifically are, one is permanent and one is absorbable. So that's another kind of arm. First we have organic and synthetic, then we have polyfilament and monofilament, and then we also have permanent and absorbable. Some monofilaments are absorbable and some are permanent, and some braided suture or polyfilaments are permanent and some are absorbable. So these two just happen to be, this polyfilament is absorbable, and in Vicryl or polyglactan we say it usually absorbs within 4 to 6 weeks, probably around there somewhere. And this Prolene is a permanent suture and does not absorb. Maybe over 10 years it might, but I've been back into patients who've had, say, hernia operations with mesh or something like that over 5 years, 8 years, and there's still these Prolene sutures visible and holding quite well. So it's probably a lot longer than 10 years. So the last thing I wanted to talk about, and the difference of suture, is kind of new in the last few years or so. And this is what we call a barbed suture. And this one just happens to be called V-Lock. This is a brand name. Oh, we're gonna take a look at this one right here. And this is an O suture. Okay, here's the V-Lock. Okay, we'll take this out. And we can see, hopefully we can see if you look really close here, this suture has little barbs on them. And what that's good for is that you don't have to tie the suture. You can just put it into the tissue and then it kind of holds it itself in the tissue. And I'm gonna actually just put this in here. And you can see, and this is how we would do this mostly on fascia, like if we're closing a hernia from the inside or some bowels or something like that. And I'm probably going to have to actually cut this suture out of here. And this little end here is for this right here. And this is mostly used, almost exclusively used in laparoscopic surgery. So we'll just have a little lock right there, right? And then we'll take this suture and you'll see how this is going to just hold itself as compared to the other sutures. And so see that? I don't have to tie it. I just set it right there, and those little barbs act to hold the suture in place. And so when I am done, what most surgeons do is take this, and this is, imagine we're doing this laparoscopically, is just run it back on itself. And so we'll do these, couple of these here, okay? And then see how those are holding quite nicely. It's even like tearing this stuff, it's a little soft. And then what I would do is run this back on itself and it would lock itself really, really tight. So that is a barbed suture. And I'm gonna show you one other barbed suture here. This is just a different brand. So the last one was Covidian. There's lots of different brands. This one is a Ethicon. I'm not advocating one or the other. I've just used all of them. So this one is a little bit different. You'll see this one, you can see the barbs a lot better. You see that? So typically the Stratafix, this purple one, is used for like the fascia because the barbs are quite big. And then this one usually is used for something like bowels. So you can actually robotically or laparoscopically use this. So that way you don't have to tie the knots, which can be difficult laparoscopically if you're, not very good like me. That's the difference in those two things. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to talk about is the size of the suture. And let me grab this suture right here because this is gonna make a big difference. Hopefully you can see it, but this is a 6O Prolene or polypropylene suture. Oh man, I don't know if you can even see that. So this right next to this O suture, okay, this is a 6O. Now let's talk about these real quick and why we call them O sutures. So basically what happened is when suture was starting to be made, they started with number 1, and they made a bigger one and went number 2, and then number 3, and number 4, and then we went up to number 6. And then as technology got better, they started to make them smaller and thought, oh, well, smaller suture is actually gonna be more useful. So they made a 0, right? So smaller than 1 is 0. And then technology got better, and then they said, well, we need one that's smaller now. What are we gonna name that? So they said, well, the first one's 0, and then so this is double 0, right? So smaller than 0 is double 0, which we call 2-0. And then smaller than 00 is 000, and that's what we call 3-0, and 4-0, and 5-0, and this is 6-0. So this is 6 zeros. That's what surgeons refer to them as 6-0 or 5-0 or 4-0 or 7-0 sutures. So that's how that goes. And like I said, most of the sutures are sort of the same, but if you get a 2-0 polyfilament compared to a 2-0 monofilament, they're slightly different, like by the microns. So for reference, you can say that a number 4 suture is about half the width of a tennis racket string. And a number 1 suture is about 0.4 millimeters, and a 5-0 is about 0.1 millimeters. So very small. This is even smaller than 0.1 millimeters. Okay, you guys, I hope you liked that video. Hopefully you know about sutures a lot more now, and you can actually talk about things a lot better in the operating room or to anybody, you know, in the hospital, and you don't sound lame. So next we're going to go over needles, and we're also going to go over instruments, so watch out for those videos coming up. If you want to learn how to suture, check out my suture tutorial videos. There's a couple good ones on that, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. Thanks a lot, you guys. See you in the next one.